Welcome to the Trailhead, where trails start and stories unfold.
One, two, three.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Now here's JD.
All right, everybody, thanks. Welcome to the Trailhead, the biggest shit show in an off-road podcast. I'm JD. Joining me today are Pope and Randy and Jason Carnes. And it was Dara?
That's my daughter, Adara. Like
Adara.
adorable.
Hi, Adara.
She's adorable.
Welcome to the show, hon. All right. Today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Erick Miller, marketing professional and the creative force behind Conquered Trailz and the Jeep known as Honey Badger. As a founder, Erick has not only created a platform for Jeep enthusiasts, but uses that platform to actively contribute to the off-road community, events, and responsible recreation organizations. Later on, we'll talk about Erick's journey from motorsports racing background to immersing himself in Jeep customization and his love affair with it that probably deserves its own book. Welcome to the show, Erick.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Awesome. And today we've got Pope, Randy. How you guys doing?
Great. How you doing?
Awesome. And then, of course, last but not least in the rotation is Mr. Carnes. How you doing, sir?
I'd be better if I was home drinking.
So just everybody, how y'all doing? Jason, we'll start with you. I got you unmuted.
All right. I'm doing good.
Anything new and exciting?
Well, I'm going to go wheeling tomorrow. Thankfully, it's got some great friends that wait for the weather to turn to shit, and then they want to go wheeling. And it's actually been pretty nice up here for the past week. And I thought to myself, well, I need to get out there on the trails and then pull the trigger and we got a flood watch.
I feel like Jason's rubbing it in our faces that he has a working vehicle.
Oh, well, might not be. I'm waiting. It's just like a ticking time bomb. I still got a Christmas tree for it.
Oh, well, that's pretty much any Jeep owner there.
Yeah, but I normally don't have lights on my dash.
Okay.
It's spinning a little bit too hard. I gotta fix my stuff.
Not the Jason we know.
Oh. Oh.
Awesome. All right. Pope, Randy, how you guys been? Break any vehicles this week?
No new vehicles broken. We've got 2 in the shop right now, though. We've got the backup Jeep is in the shop getting new shocks because I hit a bump and about flew off the road with death wobble, so I went and got the most expensive shocks possible.
He's dumb.
So,
Good logic check. I used that excuse too. I hit a bump.
If it scares you enough, it's worth spending an extra couple $100. I get it.
Yeah. Or grand.
Well, it's really supposed to be my commuter Jeep,
brother.
and so he keeps trying to turn it into a crawler, because actually the 2-door is way fun to drive off-road, but I'm trying to drive something straight. One thing in my life needs to drive straight. So
We did get an update on the Misfit, though.
Yeah,
the starter is dead.
Okay.
And because of that, they're going to replace that. They're going to also replace all the spark plugs because it was upside down on its roof. And while they got it open, they're going to take a look in the motor and see if there's any oil in there or anything else, anything hydrolocked or anything like that. So,
Is it still not starting at all?
it was not starting at all as of yesterday, but I don't know where they were at today. I didn't call on them and bug them today. So I'll have another update next week, probably.
Take the plugs out, turn it over. That'll get the oil out.
I think that's what they're doing. That's what they're going to plan. That's basically the plan. So yeah, it'll be great. It should be back. Once it's moving, then it's not that hard to get it back on the trail. It's just it's just this nightmare that's dead for a month.
Hey,
So-
when you turn it over with those plugs out, don't have your face over the engine. I learned that the hard way.
Can only imagine. I can only imagine.
The better
So-
question is, Jason, did anyone get pictures?
No, there's no pictures. The poor Toyota driver wouldn't let us take pictures.
Throwing shade to Toyota. We're like 3 minutes in, man. Come on.
It's going downhill fast.
We're gonna have every single time now. It's gonna be a thing because there's a couple of podcasts that are very Toyota focused, and I can see it becoming a problem, Jason. So thanks a lot.
I'm going to start a rivalry with them.
Yeah, by the way, Toyota people, Jason speaks for themselves. You guys
Yeah,
can go on
exactly.
back. I love you guys.
And if you want to leave us a message about how you feel about Jason and Toyota, the phone number is 71.
I'm calling
That's a
right
ser-
after this.
Yeah, we're trying to turn this into.
Yeah,
We'd like to turn this into a running joke.
I'm going to
What'd
get
you say,
like death threats. I'm going to start getting death threats.
I mean, at least we're not publishing your personal number. This is with they just have to leave messages here.
That is true. But I feel like I'm not the one that started this. I am not the one that started this.
No, you are not. But you guys are on the same camera, so sorry.
That is true. That is true.
You're an accomplice.
Yeah, definitely an accomplice today.
That's awesome. All right. So take this opportunity real quick. This is a reminder. If you are listening, I'm holding up an 8-switch panel gang relay for Jeep. Honestly, you probably can use it just about anywhere. It's pretty universal. It's going to be a part of a giveaway for the first 50 reviews. If you leave a review on Apple Podcasts and anywhere else and send us a message that you left that review, hopefully with a screenshot, we'll get you entered. We had our first entry today. Actually, somebody I know with the Jeep hit me up and they left us a review, a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It has not posted yet. Yeah, so I haven't had a chance to see what he wrote. But yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, that was my red 2-door Jeep that left a comment. He wants a 8-gang switch.
See, I'm sorry. I hate to tell you this, Pope, but we're not eligible for this. Because I could give it back to myself, but then it's going to defeat the whole damn purpose of this.
Exactly.
All right. So yeah, we'll give it away to one of the 51st reviews, and then we'll just do a kind of a raffle for it, and we'll do it live on one of these, and I'll pull it out of the hat or something. So yeah, we just want to get the reviews. They really help us kind of grow and get us put up there with some of the other guys so that people know that we're worth listening to. So cool. Thanks a lot. Let's see here. What else have I got? To the phone number we left, or I said a second ago, if you want to leave us a message or text us, you can do so at 719-408-0132. You can also hit us up at thetrailheadnetwork.com, the Trailhead Podcast at Gmail, and of course, the Trailhead Podcast at gmail.com. And then, on Instagram, and then we'll do news with you, Pope. But first, the selfish thing for all the people here local in Colorado, Rampart Range is closed. It's kind of my back door here, and it's actually 4 minutes from my house. So the northern end of Rampart Range is closed. Respect seasonal closures. It's just something we got to deal with, and they'll be open in the spring. Did you guys see the Moab update?
I did.
Good, yeah.
Yeah. So
all those trails are officially closed.
Yeah, all those trails. The petition that the BRC filed was denied, and the stay was denied. So all those trails are closed. If you go out there, respect those closures, and then follow the BRC. They're going to continue to fight this, and then hopefully, if we get this turned over, then we can go back out there sometime soon.
Yep.
All right. And yeah, that's also a reminder. Blue Ribbon Coalition. If you don't know who they are, go back a few episodes and listen to our conversation with Ben from the Blue Ribbon Coalition, and think about giving them some cash to help them with the fight that a lot of us don't have time for. Go ahead, Jason.
Just as a reminder too, on the PRC, I'm pretty sure Pope, you have it on your Instagram account. I don't have it on my account. Lily's got it on her account, and I think Eric, you have it on yours still too, right? Donations to the cause for Blue Ribbon Coalition.
Yeah, we're doing a bunch of fundraising for them anyways through Conquered Trailz. So yeah.
So if
Yeah.
anybody
Oh.
doesn't know how to help throw some cash towards that and support them, please go to our Instagram page and click on that and help get the money into them.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll
Absolutely.
mute myself now.
No, you're good. Thank you. Yeah, it's just Blue Ribbon Coalition's doing a lot of the legal work that we can't do.
Right.
So if you can throw them some cash and get involved, do so. Awesome. All right. So, Pope, I think I managed to get the Pope news thing fixed. So we're going to try this again.
Oh, let's see.
And see if I can not make an ass out of myself again. And Jason's already laughing at me, and I don't appreciate it. All right. Let's see if it goes. Bueller? No, see? I did everything I was supposed to, Riverside. This is not exactly an advertisement for your service. Sorry. All right. Well, here's the fucking news with Pope.
I like that. We'll stick with that.
That's perfect. If there
Yep.
was a,
Better.
there was a no better
like a
intro
little
for me.
xylophone though, like chime in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's some fucking news. All right. So let's start with this top one. I don't even know what this is about. I was trying to get it. Oh, this is a tire stuff. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of
yeah.
a press
I did read-
release, kind of
I
a
did read about
story,
this
but it's
thing.
still an interesting stat.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Basically, Hankook Tires has done a survey. And the latest survey from their ongoing Gauge Index reveals that half of Americans are interested in off-road experiences, with 48% of that group showing a particular interest in trail driving. The survey highlights the appeal of exploration and experiencing new scenery as the top benefits of off-road driving. Interestingly, the data shows a seasonal preference for off-road driving, with 29% of respondents preferring the fall, second only to the summer at 37%. When it comes to equipment, performance, 25%, safety rating, 17%, and longevity, 12% are the top considerations for drivers purchasing off-road tires. This survey also touched on the topic of electric vehicles and off-road driving, with 40% of respondents indicating they would use an EV for off-road driving. I'm in that 40%. I know I'm in
I
the
mean, so am
minority.
I.
I'm interested. I mean, it's got to be good though.
Yeah, it can't suck. I mean, you can't just go out there and have a break.
Yeah,
Yeah. Can't just last for like an hour.
I'm
Right.
squarely in the hybrid camp for off-roading right now. Like that's it. That makes sense to me. The hybrid makes sense. It doesn't make sense to be all electric unless you've got high capacity stations available to you at all times.
Yeah, unless the technology changes and keeps up with that stuff.
Well, and I think
It
it
will, it's
can,
just
and
not
it
there
can,
yet.
and it will. And I think even like the idea of like solar panels on the top of your like I've heard of like people talking about like solar panels on like the exoskeleton of the Jeep or whatever. And how cool would that be if you could like even do solar like someday?
Yeah.
Like it would be
Well,
awesome.
and there-
Anyway, there's so many opportunities.
Yeah,
Just saw a rooftop tent up there too.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, a lot of people already have the rooftop tent, so now they
Yeah.
just need to skin it with solar panels.
Right.
There you go.
It'll be a few years, and they'll have some sort of photovoltaic paint that you can just paint your shit and
yeah, basically.
discharge.
Exactly.
In Utah, we tend to get off-road tires that are good at snow, at least if we're trying to be on the roads and on the trails with the same vehicle.
So
That's our
Yeah,
preference.
seriously.
Yeah.
So, because we're driving off road a third of the year anyway, whether we like it or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, well, this is kind of a press release for Hankook Tires. I think they're just trying to show, hey, people want to use tires to get out in the wilderness. But I think it points to what we've talked about before, which is that there's a lot of people that are getting out there now that have never before, and those numbers are only going to get bigger.
Yeah.
If they've got a vehicle, they're going to figure out how to do it. So,
Yeah. I think that's the driving force behind that, to me, I think is like obviously the 4-door JK. That was like that flipped the off-road world on its head, because
it really did. Yeah.
it's just not this bachelor's vehicle anymore. It's like now it's a family vehicle. It's got 4 doors and this and that. And then like everything from that kind of, snowballed into, overlanding getting big and everybody calling it overlanding, but people have been doing it forever. And then obviously the social media side kind of driving all the pictures. And so it's not a surprise that like fall, that's very, very scenic, very beautiful outdoor time. So is summer, that sort of thing. So those are the 2 popular things, obviously, in that survey. And the number one thing on the list is scenery. So like all those things kind of point to like Instagram photos and 4-door vehicles and overlanding and all those things. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I think people want to do what they see in their Instagram feeds.
right.
So
We used
whether
to
it's in their
love
bag.
to take the Jeeps camping and go out wherever we could take them.
Don't
Yeah.
do the things that I do with my Instagram.
I think that's a blanket statement we should probably just have
I
played
think it
before
should
the
apply to all of
podcast.
us, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you see
Yeah.
Pope doing it on his
Please-
Instagram, don't
Nope.
copy it.
I'm going to add that. Don't try this at home. Yep.
You
That's
have a
exactly.
ticker on the bottom of the podcast the entire time, which like
Mhm, I can do,
Do
that
not
now,
try this
yeah.
at home.
Mhm.
Do not
Yeah.
try
Just
this at home.
need to like scroll across the bottom.
Warning: Pope and Jason are shitty drivers. Do not try this at home.
That's awesome. So yeah. And then so we talked about the EVs, and then and then let's go for the next one, Pope, man.
All right, let's talk about the Forest Service cutting down trees to save the forest. This isn't that unusual of a thought for us, but it's nice to see that they're kind of doing a little bit more. We've been doing this in Utah for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
In a recent article on singletracks.com, Matt Miller explains the concept of forest thinning, a vital strategy employed by land management agencies to enhance forest health and mitigate the risk of destructive fires. So Miller highlights that thinning involves creating space for trees to flourish while reducing the fuel that can escalate fire intensity. And beyond fire prevention, this practice positively impacts biodiversity, habitat quality, and addresses risks from pests and diseases. Despite sparking debate due to its influence on wildlife, scenery, and recreation, agencies deploy various methods, including mechanical thinning and prescribed burning, tailored to specific forest types and terrains. As Miller notes, this intentional forest management delivers not only environmental benefits, but also contributes to economic gains, producing timber and biomass, and generating jobs and revenue for the local communities.
Yeah, I wanted to throw that one in because the amount of messages, I mentioned that I live here next to Rampart Range here in Colorado. They all summer long they did a lot of fuel mitigation because a lot of the front range here is right next to houses, and sometimes you have these conversations with the wheelers and they're like, oh, they went through there and they logged it, now it's terrible and it looks terrible. I'm like, give it a couple of years, it'll be back. And it's important that we do that because we didn't do it for 60 years or longer. And we tried to prevent it from ever happening. And as such, it got overgrown. There's some places here that are a tinderbox, and it's nice to see people writing about it and showing that it's the benefits to it.
Yeah, it's a good perspective. I think a lot of people don't see on the surface. They just see, people cutting down trees and, not only from the scenery, but just like people just wanting to, not see the trees disappear and all this and that and, the deforestation and blah, blah, blah. So there's like good and bad, sides of it, and depending on where it's at. But I think like
you can overdo it.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
can completely overdo it. But there's a trail right near here named Shoebarth, and it's just on top of the Air Force Academy, and it's very nice. but you can drive through it and immediately see the difference between where they have done some of that work and where they have not done some of that work. And where they have not some of that work, there's just tons of dead, and it's not pretty. It's not even really good, nice to look at if you're being just aesthetic about it.
Right.
So it's important that it gets done, especially now because we didn't do it for so long.
Absolutely.
All right, we got one more.
Yeah, let's do this one. This one I really like because this is right up our alley that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So Pennsylvania is investing millions to secure it. Let me try that again. Pennsylvania is investing millions to ensure people of all backgrounds and abilities have access to public lands. Pennsylvania is making strides in ensuring that its public lands are accessible to all. The state is investing millions in projects and advisory boards to ensure that all Pennsylvanians can enjoy the state's more than 3 million acres of public lands and numerous outdoor recreational opportunities. The efforts are aimed at connecting kids with the outdoors, improving accessibility, and challenging assumptions that certain activities are exclusive to certain demographics. However, they acknowledge that more work is needed to ensure everyone who wants to can visit and feel safe using public lands.
Hey, I'm from Pennsylvania, and I just want to say what they're really talking about there is those are the public roads. Public roads, public land. That's what they're referring to. They invest millions of dollars into the public roads there every year. So if you've ever driven on a highway in Pennsylvania, no, it's not pleasant. You need four-wheel drive. Those potholes are monstrous.
Once again, the phone number to leave a message is
And they-
719-08.
They need more than $1 million. They need way more than $1 million.
Are you volunteering, Jason, to help them with that fund?
No, but I think I just hit a skunk.
Oh,
Oh, man.
Thanks.
well, thank you for that lovely thought. All right. So, I mean, this is something we've talked about before, right? Is the just having access for certain groups of people. I'm one of those people that can't do the walking. And when you close 300 miles of trails in Moab, I'm never going to see those trails now.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see the other end of it like this. You've got some good stuff going out there by you too, right, Eric? Was that Idaho or was that Washington?
I'm in Washington. Yeah.
Okay. I think it was Idaho. They had the wind, excuse me.
Yep. I read a little bit more in that article, and yeah, I think it's good that they're kind of pouring some money into that and trying to make certain demographics feel safe, because I think like it kind of goes into, you know, certain minority demographics not thinking, you know, going out on hikes and getting out in the wilderness is like it's something that they grew up in because they were like interurban or that sort of thing, you know what I mean? And they just, you know, don't feel necessarily safe in certain environments. And so
Right.
I think they're dumping a lot of money letting them know like, hey, these trails are open and cut and clean, and here's a map and all this sort of thing. So I think I think what they're doing is good out there.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Just open access to more people.
Yeah, it's just I like to see, especially. I mean, I've seen a lot of articles about access for wheelchairs and things like this. This article is kind of nice to put that blanket OHV as well. Just it doesn't have to be a wheelchair. Just limited access for some folks. Like I can get to and from the store. I can't go on a hike. Like these knees can't take it.
Right.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's it in the news department for that. And then, we'll move on. And
That's the end of your big ass news.
That's your big ass news. That's awesome.
Ding, ding, ding.
I was very excited. I had this whole thing with it, and I tried it out earlier today, and it worked. And I just hit the button, and the progress bar said it was playing something, and we all sat here, and I got nothing. So, Riverside, I can't honestly endorse you. It's better than most software, but there's a few problems if you're listening. So anyway, Eric, officially again, welcome to the show. Appreciate you coming on and chatting with us about this stuff, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
So for those of you listening, Conquered Trailz is, if you're familiar with the Jeep Badge of Honor, those are the official Jeep badges that are offered for the trails that they have designated around the country as being their official trails. But a lot of us found those lacking in a lot of different ways. And Conquered Trailz is one of those groups that really stepped in there to fill that void. So welcome, Erick.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So I got to get this out of the way. My wife mentioned, I was doing the research, the prep work for this, and I can't help but notice you're from Sequim.
I am, yeah.
And that I said that correctly, didn't I?
Nope, you did not.
Oh, damn it! I was all
everybody said
prepared. Okay. That's probably where I thought I had it right. The only reason I know this is because of 90 Day Fiancé. Do you know that guy?
I don't know that guy, but I heard there was a said gentleman on that show in this area. So
okay, well that's good. I can pass that along because my wife was sure that you probably knew him based on the town's overall population.
Small town, but I know him personally.
Okay, well this is worth a shot. All right. So real quick, I ordered this from you a little while back, and I didn't open it because I figured I was going to open it here, and I got the Save Moab one. So let's take a look at this. I have not. This is a blind reaction because I don't have any of your badges till now. This is very entertaining radio, y'all. Oh yeah, that's slick. So I got the Save Moab, the Blue Ribbon Coalition sticker. This one's still available, right?
It is. We have that version 2 is no longer available, but we still have some of the version 1. It's almost identical sticker. It just has a Jeep on it. So
okay, cool.
Just
so yeah, if you want to grab one of these, head over to the Conquered Trailz site. They'll give a donation to the BRC and send you this awesome sticker you can put in your rig.
Yep. So, we're donating $5 per each one.
Yeah, it's a really great, man. It's a high dollar donation with a good sticker for a good advertisement. So thank you. So I'll let you go right into it. Can you want to give yourself a little bit of an introduction and tell us a little bit about the Conquered Trailz?
Yeah. Where should I start? You want like history of Conquered Trailz or?
Yeah, I mean, how did you guys come to be? Like,
sure. I've been always a car person in the vehicles growing up. There wasn't a vehicle I think I left stock, so I was always like customizing things and doing this and that. And I think that really was from I have an older brother, is about 7 years older, so like he was going through high school and the like mini truck lowrider days and that sort of thing. The kids were always customizing things, so I was around him a lot, just tinkering and then but I was always been like a sports car guy, really. And so right out of high school, kind of followed a passion in the motorsports and got in the road course racing for a long number of years. Everything from like Porsches to Hondas, and we got into National Race Series, and we're all over the place, and all the way up until basically the 2008 housing crash, basically. And then when marketing budgets start drying up, sponsorships start drying up, and if you don't have the right last name or independently wealthy, you're just not going racing. So that was a stop of that career path.
It'll do it.
And then I just kind of was looking around. I've always loved Jeeps. I've had a couple Grand Cherokees in the past, but no Wranglers. And then I was just like, hey, I like how you can customize Jeeps, and kind of got into the Jeep thing. And very quickly caught the bug, started throwing money at it and going wheeling more often. And before you know it, I'm just like, man, I spent a lot of money doing this, and I wanted to go to out of state and Moab and all these different trails, not just my local ones. And again, that's like more and more money. And then I was like, how can I, offset this and kind of support my hobby of sorts. And then I remembered back when in my racing years, a cool thing people used to do is put the silhouette of all the racetracks like on their race cars. So you're walking around the pit and you're just like, oh, that car has been on Laguna Seca and Watkins Glen and all these big name racetracks that people would just recognize by the shape of it. They wouldn't even have the name of it. You'd just be like, oh, I know that track. I've been on that one, or I know that one, that sort of thing. So I kind of really took that idea and then kind of ran with it, and took about a year and a half to really kind of build a website, build a good base amount of inventory, basically, before I launched Conquered Trailz at EGS in 2016.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jason. Oh, Jason dropped. Lost it. I think Jason had a question, but then we lost him. That's all right. Well, that's cool, Matt. You said it was in 2016 or 2017 you debuted them?
2016. Yeah, it was at EGS.
Okay.
2016 is kind of where I launched it, and we brought a rig down there and did the whole thing, and worked with a bunch of companies to kind of help introduce a lot of the products. I worked with Northridge 4x4. They used to have a pretty good force down at EGS. Sponsored a lot of trail runs, like probably 10 to 12 trail runs while they're down there every year, that sort of thing. And so I'd take our badges for that particular trail run and then put their brand on top of it too. So it's kind of a co-branded thing.
Okay.
So it's our
Mhm.
branded shape, but with their logo on top, which we do a ton of that for small clubs or just groups of, girls that are going out for a weekend that have this, logo they want to throw on it, or whatever it is. We've done memorial stuff. We've done like just all kinds
So do you
of
just
custom stuff.
do you just contact you and then you'll like make like cool trail badges and stuff?
Yep. Yeah, we do. And when I say we, like, it's basically me. Design work
Right.
and production, that sort of thing. So that's but we do pretty much everything in-house. So pretty awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
How many badges you got now?
What's that?
How many badges you got now?
Live on the site, we probably have over 500 and 500 trails nationwide, and then we are adding like every week, and that's just a big part of basically Conquered Trailz and what this morphed into. And it's really like community driven. We get like so many people reaching out because obviously, we're from our little neck in the woods, and I know like the trails that we've been on, and when we go down the EGS or Trail Hero or some of this and that, Johnson Valley, but we don't get back to Tennessee on a regular basis, or we don't get back to Oklahoma. Like, so, unless we're constantly just actively doing a ton of research, we still don't know which trails in Oklahoma are the most popular ones, you know what I mean? And versus the ones that, it's just, it's in Uncle Bob's backyard and me and my buddies run it, type thing. So we're trying to, it's very, very community driven. So we like ask a lot of questions when people reach out to us, and, what kind of trail rating is this? And, do you have any maps of this? And how popular is it? Blah, 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 blah. And is it on private land? Is it a public thing? So all these things kind of play
So
into
do you have maps too for all these trails?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, we don't actually. And that's kind of our next evolution, basically, is kind of where we are moving towards, is not only just providing the merit badge for it, but also the information, because a lot of people are new to the sport. I mean, just like that Hankook tires thing, right? So
Can I interest you in Trails Off-Road?
yeah, actually, we
I have to, full disclosure, I write for them, so that's
perfect.
why I bring it up. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, we actually had started a conversation about that because there's there's certain platforms and apps and that sort of thing that are the other piece of the puzzle, really. And so rather than trying to reinvent it, you know what I mean?
There's
a partnership
we've had
makes
some of
a
those
little more
discussions in the
sense.
past.
So what's the criteria that you choose for creating a badge for a trail? Is it popularity? Is it difficulty?
It used to be both popularity and a certain level of difficulty. But now that, the overland side, nothing against the overland crew or that sort of thing, but like a lot of the trails that they're going on with big heavy rigs, that sort of thing, isn't the trails that we're hitting as rock crawlers, right? And so
Right.
a lot of that has opened up a lot of like backcountry discovery routes where it's just, the go all off road. It could just be like fire roads or access roads all the way across from one point of the state to another. Those are really big things now. So we're adding a lot of those, where when we first started out, we were just like, oh, we're just going to do like rock crawling stuff and this and this and that. But, times are changing, and we want to be relevant for like every aspect. It doesn't matter. Like,
I can see the value in like doing a Conquered badge. Like I conquered this 5-day long expedition that I had to Jeep across the desert to finish or something like that. I can
Yeah,
totally
you
see
see
the
that.
value.
That's
in doing
awesome.
that. Yeah,
Right.
that's kind of cool. You know, because it's our level of difficulty is how big are the rocks, how dangerous, what's risk of body damage.
Right.
But a lot of people, there's endurance, and that's another whole different type of driving and mentality, and being able to camp for 5 days in your Jeep. That's the hell of a accomplishment, to be honest.
It is. It absolutely is, because of a lot of the stuff, like, you know, Kenny, you mentioned that we do. I mean, some of our trails are, you know, a quarter of a mile long, but it's the hardest quarter mile ever, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
So, like, it doesn't make for a real exciting badge when it's just like a straight line, because there's the trail's very short, right? So we try to not delve too much into, at least right now. I mean, there's always room for expansion and that sort of thing, but at the time being, we aren't like focusing too much on obstacles, right? Because all the obstacles are named, that sort of thing. So we're still sticking with full trails that might have the obstacles on it, that sort of thing. And we've had special requests, but we do custom work all the time, where people are like, oh, you know, we're going on this one trail and it's got these 3 obstacles at these different points, and this, like, you know, point of interest over here because this old cool
You get the full
cabin that we
justification.
all used to camp at as kids or whatever it is. Could you add that? And like, absolutely. That's all stuff that we can do, being small and nimble, right?
Yeah,
That's cool.
that's awesome.
Well, I mean, it would be kind of cool to like have you done. I mean, not that like it's that hard, but I think everybody wants to do Hell's Gate. Like, just because you did Hell's Revenge doesn't mean you did Hell's Gate. Like, it'd be kind of cool to have those kind of like.
Right.
I mean, not that. I mean, that's like a beginner like way cool thing
Right.
in retrospect to some things, but I mean, it would be cool to have like obstacles that are notorious, right? Like, if you're in Moab and you're on Hell's Revenge and you don't do Hell's Gate, like, you're sad, right? Like, just a little bit. Or whatever. Like, that was just a big example of a very popular
and
one.
I think that's kind of where I would start, if we went down that route, would be like the big popular ones, not some of the super gnarly where, you know, your
the shoot
where
in Sand
your
Hollow
customer
or
base shrinks really, really fast if it's a super gnarly thing, right? And so,
Right.
but like Hell's Gate, of course, is like that's perfect because, you know, how many like semi-stock vehicles have you seen go up that year
Do
after year
that.
after year, right? So
or the shoot, like the shoot in Sand Hollow. It's a highway. It's like, it's really just drive over it, but at the same time, it's Jeep porn.
right,
Like,
right, no,
it looks so good. Like, right?
It's just a lot of fun to watch side-by-sides try to go up that.
It's fun.
yeah,
Yeah, it's always a good time.
And then you have the other side of the shoe. Can you do that? Like, just
that's right. Don't turn left, go straight.
Yeah. Then you get like
What-
an upgraded badge. Just kidding.
You get the other half. Maybe they just come in pieces.
They should, and they could be puzzle pieces.
So first,
They could be
you get the
puzzle pieces
name.
together. Like, yeah, like, okay, I can do the shoe, but can you do the other side of the shoe?
That's
Or
right.
do you turn left or do you go straight?
I mean, choosing the difficulty line should be an important part of a sticker at this point, I think.
Yeah.
If
Right.
you're doing
On
it.
the obstacle ones. Like, I think you should do that. I think you should go down that path at some point. Like, I think that's a pretty cool, like, because, I mean, like I said, anybody can do Hell's Revenge, but did you do Hell's
Hell's
Gate?
Gate,
Or
yeah.
did anybody, I mean, not anybody could do Double Sammy, but, like, did you do the shoot at the end? Oh, did you finish the shoot?
Did
Right,
you drive
right.
the shoot backwards?
No, I like
But I,
Did you drive the shoot backwards?
but I do want to say, Eric, like, I want to. You're a rock crawler. Randy and Pope are rock crawlers. Jason and Lily are rock crawlers. I am an occasional rock crawler. I'm, that guy with 35s and a 2.5-inch lift and that middle of the road build that he still drives to and from work. And half of my favorite trails is because they're scenic. They're not necessarily very difficult. They might have a little bit of a shelf. My wife might not like them, but they're all right. So I think there's a definite appetite for that, because even with the Badge of Honor trails that the Jeep has now, a lot of the criticism is that some of them are too hard, some of them are too safe, if you will. And it's nice to have a much wider audience, or excuse me, set of trails to pull from when you're trying to find those achievements. So
There's both of those to be true. Like, the trails are too easy. Some of the trails on the Badge of Honor are too easy. Some of them are way too hard.
Yeah.
and there's not really a happy medium.
Yeah, because
I'll never do Holy Cross in Colorado. I like, as much as I like the idea of it, it's a mile long trail that takes all
It's
day.
on my bucket
and I won't
list.
do it.
That sounds
I'll go
great.
watch you do it. Mhm.
A mile long that takes a day? How hard is it? I
Right,
like that.
I know we were down in Colorado earlier this year, but it was too early and Holy Cross wasn't open, so yeah, we didn't end up getting to do it. But that was
Holy
like,
Cross and
if it's
Carnage
open,
Canyon.
we're doing
those two.
it.
Mm-hmm. You're definitely going to break something. Mm-hmm. Every time.
See, I want to go to Montrose. Like, I'm ready for Montrose.
All
I'm
right.
ready to go down there. That's
Oh,
fine.
go for it. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there.
Yeah.
Do you know how many stickers you've gotten in Colorado?
Oh man, quite a few. I want to say probably 60-ish,
I like putting you on the
Wow.
spot. Okay.
something like
That's
that.
pretty
That's a big area, and yeah, we're always, like I said, we're such community
I've got like
driven,
40
and we're
I can get
nimble,
to you.
so
Yeah.
we add badges like quickly, or we don't
That's
even
neat
have to
because
add
there's
them to our
lots
site
of
if
with
people,
60 or 70 trails in the state. That's a lot of opportunities for people to get badges and have fun with this collecting. And
yeah. And what I found, like, also in the Jeep Badge of Honor, people have like made it kind of almost like they plan the trips around them now, where they're going like out of state just to do these trails. So I can see a lot of times where if they don't do a ton of research on the trail or one thing or another, they get there and it's too hard or too difficult because it's on there. And we're just trying to like I said, be nimble and fill the gap, and we don't have an app attached to us, right? So like,
That's my next question.
you know, where that was like one of the biggest complaints about the Jeep Badge of Honor at first was like, well, they require you to check in and check out of the trail, but a lot of times you don't have cell service, right? Where these trails are, right?
yeah, within
Yep.
anywhere.
So that was a big
I
hang.
made some very questionable decisions about leaving the top of the world, trying to wait for service because I had forgotten to check in on my way out there.
Oh,
Did that before.
I still
So,
don't have. Oh wait, do I have I don't have top of the world because I still have never had self service every time I've done it.
Honestly, I think it's a pointless thing mostly, though. I mean, it's kind of interesting to be able to say I checked in nearby, but I think for most people, it's like you checked in nearby, great. Like you can check into Poison Spider too and never go on it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I checked
most
into
of it-
Pritchett and I've never been on it yet.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got a bunch of badges that I just kind of got holding on to because I don't want to
You
wait
didn't-
for
He
Jeep.
didn't mean to, but he's like, now he has the badge, so he's like, well, cool, I'll just go. No, you don't have the badge.
I
You
don't
didn't
have it.
order that.
I
You're
haven't
not
had it
going
sent
to
to
order
me
the
yet.
badge until you did.
I checked into it. It's waiting for me, but I'm not going to get it till I actually go.
I mean,
And
what
if
I
my
would say
Jeep
is,
doesn't quit tipping over or being broken other ways, I'll never get there. So hopefully.
I can't believe it. We have tried to do Pritchett, like, I can't tell you how many times,
It's
but
always-
every time we're going to do Pritchett, we break. Like, something happens the day before, or
It's always on the
something.
last day, and one of us has broken gears. or
Someone has, like,
broken
ugh.
axles.
I hate that trail. If we are basically bound and determined to fail if we plan to do that trail. So I just wanted to sneak up on me one day, like, we're doing Pritchett.
Just happened.
That's- Yeah, I just need to happen on Pritchett.
just rent a Jeep. Mm-hmm. Rent it. Yeah. that
Go
way
to a
it's-
rental. Oh, I might
Do-
just take it on,
Yeah, on the easy.
Do a Turo.
on the
Yeah.
easy stuff. I'm
Rent-
just
rent
I'm
somebody's
gonna
really
borrow
lifted
it,
Jeep.
please.
I don't think you're supposed to do that, for the record.
I have to
think
do
I'm
an
pretty sure their
exam.
terms of service says no. What'd you say,
Certain
Rudy?
Jeeps down there you can take on trails, but they actually have rules about which trails you can go. I don't think Pritchett's included.
I don't think Pritchett's
No.
included in any trail.
I was in, without getting too far into the weeds, no pun intended. I did read the terms and service of a Turo agreement within the last 12 months. Let's put it that way. It does not include off-road usage of any kind.
Yeah, I have a rental right now of a Jeep Sahara, and I show them pictures of my Jeep before I rented it.
Mhm.
And they're like, wait a minute. They're like, it added up to them like, wait a minute, you're renting another Jeep. Are you going to do this?
Yeah.
Like, you're not allowed to take this off road, right?
Yeah. I was very
off road. Like,
define exactly what is like. Is it a dirt road? A dirt road is a dirt road. If it just happens to be some mud or a few rocks on it, I can't control it. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's you guys do some work with Tread Lightly, right?
We do, yeah. We've been working with Tread Lightly for a little over 3 years now. We do all their membership decals. So when you sign up for Tread Lightly and you get a decal, regardless of how
nice.
the shape is, we do all their decal printing. So those guys are awesome. We've worked with them for some custom decals for some of their projects that they do, where at the end of the project they hand it out to a lot of volunteers. We've also done some stuff via them for Rebel Rally too, so we've done all kinds of little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to get them on here to talk about that stuff, because that's just a whole cool thing unto itself. Did you do the badges for them?
What's that?
Did you do the badges for them, or was it just kind of each individual teams?
No, not. It was more Tread Lightly wanted something to offer all the teams, because they're a big sponsor of that or whatnot, and so we made them basically a co-branded custom Tread Lightly badge, basically.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a lot of cool stuff out here with Stay the Trail and a couple of other groups out here in Colorado. So it's nice to see more and more folks doing work with them. I'm going to bring this up again for all of our faithful listeners. If you listened to us before and may or may not have heard me, not bashing, but what Tread Lightly and Stay the Trail does, and a lot of these groups do, is it's very important. And I don't want to diminish it at all. But if you've got $20, definitely give $10 to your Stay the Trail and $10 to the BRC. Make sure you're doing somebody who's not just doing the advocacy work to clean it up, but also to keep it open. I think we've focused so long on doing the keep it open stuff, the cleaning it up stuff. We forgot about the keep it open part.
Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, they're definitely, all those organizations seem to have kind of their own avenues, and the BRC is definitely the important side for the legal battle side, basically.
Yeah, and I get it. We live in a hyper political world, and everybody's kind of got their lane that they've got to do their work in, and it's just now it's up to us as consumers to kind of make sure we do our part to recognize where money's going.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, and beyond consumers too, I think it's the manufacturers really need to get involved in all these companies, and we have all these people buying parts and bumpers and all this sort of thing, and using this stuff off road and going this and this and that. So
if I comment on one more company, large company like Jeep, or even some of the bigger axle manufacturers and things like that, like, you guys got to step into put some skin in the game. Like, it's your customers that are impacted by this. So either you got to get your competitors are getting in the game. So get in the game
and buy axles for 40-inch tires if there aren't trails that require 40-inch tires.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell, like, on the surface what a lot of these, because I work for a kind of a resort casino golf course conglomerate thing, and we do so much stuff, so many donations for community and all these events and one thing or another, and like on the surface no one even knows that we do all this stuff. So I mean, it's really hard to tell like what some of these things are, but the stuff that is on the surface that we see as social media people, like, we're out there, sharing the BRC stuff, getting this word out, trying to spread this stuff. And I'm not seeing a ton of companies doing the same thing, which is very easy for them to do. And they have very large audiences and this and that, you know what I mean? And I think that it's just something as simple as that goes a long ways without even the monetary side of it, right? Just spreading the word. Awareness is giant.
Right. It's like, it's just say something about it. And if you bring it up, like Jeep, if you've got more reach than any of us combined, like more reach than anybody who's been on this podcast in whole, and more reach than we'll probably be on here. Let's say hopefully with just the first year. But you have more reach than any of us. You've got to get out there. You've got to say something, because it's great to see posts from the BRC and Trails Off-Road get 13,000, 16,000 likes, whatever. But we need to see Jeep posting that to their millions of followers, so they know. And so that groups like the BLM know that we're done. We're done kind of just sitting and letting that happen.
Great.
So cool. let's see here. So you're not getting an app. I really don't think it's super important to have one. Like, it might be cool from the social aspect, but
Yeah.
the check-in in piece is really kind of useless and pointless to me. And like,
Yeah,
I know I'm
on
not
that
there.
road. I think like the information side would be cool. You know what I mean?
Okay,
And they can like just more like trail maps and that sort of thing. But probably won't ever go down to like the app, and you need a membership just to get these things and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like, that's not really where we came from or where we really are heading. You know?
I think everybody's kind of subscriptions for everything, so that's appreciated.
Right.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
It's the little things. I'm tired of getting nickel and dime for $4.99 a month. And as I say that, I would like to mention to everybody that if you'd like to support us, you can do so on our Patreon page for only $4 a month, and add that to your long list of subscriptions that you can't pay for.
There you go.
So yeah, it's
We have all of the
it's good stuff.
uncensored Jason content on our Patreon.
I mean, I'm starting to collect it. There's at least 5 minutes or so from
Premium
the
members
conversation
only.
with the Aqua Jeep girl. Yeah.
So Eric, where are you at?
I am
Where-
in Washington State. I'm about 2 hours west of Seattle, so I'm like out on we call it the Olympic Peninsula, and so I'm
Okay.
staring across at Canada, across the water, basically. And I'm it was about 45 minutes from Jason, but now that he's moved, I'm probably like 2 hours from him.
So you see him less regularly, but just enough.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
small doses.
So how often do you get out to Sand Hollow?
Sand Hollow, that was our first time this year.
Oh, isn't it amazing?
Yeah, that was our first time. We wanted to go probably the last 2 years, just things weren't lining up and this and that. And my girlfriend's birthdays are around October 8th, and so it's always around Trailhead time, and we like doing big things for her birthday. And so I was like, okay, we got to get it down there. We got to do this thing. I promise we won't go on just Jeep vacations anymore. Like,
Come to Winter 4x4.
yeah, that's
That's
coming
Getting
up.
pressured. Yeah.
Winter
That's
4x4 is
pressure
a
that
smaller
they can do
version
back.
of Trail Hero. and
It's a lot. I like it because it's more
Are
interesting.
you guys going to have a functional Jeep for that?
Oh yeah.
Well,
Well, like this
One
is
of you
the thing.
sounded very confident. One of you did not.
I feel confident in our shop, and I feel confident. I'm keeping positive on everything. Jem, like I didn't give you my update. Jem has way more exciting news than Misfit's. Like a nightmare. Like I don't even want to think about him. But Jem is getting triangulated, so she's gonna be great for Trail Hero. I'm so ready.
All right. It's starting to look like I'll get mine back. So
we're probably we're
fingers
kind of
crossed.
rebranding at this point, just to
Rebranding.
changing the logos, and we kind of had fun with ripping off the Hasbro logos, but now we are trying to do something a little different now. And then it was a good time when Misfit tipped over, just to be kind of like, fuck it, let's try something new for a minute with the
Well, we're
design.
gonna wrap him, and we've got.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna wrap both of them, and we're gonna because instead of painting, like we were looking at painting the whole thing and doing the whole because there's too many panels that need to be painted, so it's like you have to do the whole thing at that point.
Yeah, I'm not doing paint
And
ever again. Mhm.
So yeah, so anyway, we're gonna fix them up as good as possible and just start wrapping them and just
provided I don't need a new
motor.
motor, I feel like if they get it started next week, there's time to get it running, and there's time to get it all put back together.
All right.
It's not that much
Winter
work.
4x4.
And if I don't have that Jeep at Winter 4x4, we're
That
either
was my
taking a
question.
hologram or I'm gonna buy another one.
I mean, somebody will buy it. Somebody will buy it with a new
He's
engine.
looking at a Gladiator right now that's like a 68,
67 Gladiator.
67 Gladiator
It's
with like
on-
rear steer and all this dumb
It's on
shit.
44s already. It's like
I think
waiting
my
for me to buy it.
Oh man.
I think my friend Troy is still selling his Gladiator. So if you're interested, I'll let you know. He's only
No,
looking
not
for
like
58.
like what year? What year?
I think it's a 2019.
Oh no, he's looking at a 69, a 67.
Kaiser
Gladiator.
military one. And they've actually built it up with deuce and a half axles and a
Nice.
It's a
454
significantly
engine.
different build.
we're not buying any more new things for what we do. We've learned our lesson.
She says
we
very
didn't do
adamantly.
this. No,
expensive.
anything that we're gonna beat the crap out of, like we do, isn't gonna be new. Like it wasn't on purpose. It was
we didn't
like
think that ever that we were going to
no,
be like.
we didn't know we were gonna be here. Like
We-
this isn't like I can't wait for like
we thought
it
Fins and
until-
Things was going to be like our hard challenge, and that was going to be cool.
I think
and
that's
we're
where
gonna go
everybody
back to
starts,
driving
yeah.
on fire roads. And little did we know, we freaking love this stuff.
I want to do a whole episode about not building your Jeep before you know what the hell it is you like to do.
Right, but
that
I
is
think
important.
I think people spend thousands of dollars on bad advice, and I know I spent at least $8,000 on
Our
a build I
problem
didn't
is that
need.
we keep outgrowing what we're doing.
well,
It's-
we're like, oh, we're only gonna do this, and then we do more, and then we do more.
And-
But
But it's fine because now we know what we're going to do, so we won't have to build the next vehicles 3 times. It'll only take once, hopefully.
So are you still on your first Jeep, Eric?
I'm not. No, Wrangler. No, this is my second JK.
This is starting to sound. So you're done now. That's 2. You're it. It's not like 1, 2, 3.
we're on
and
like
you're
seven
addicted.
or
It's
eight
2 and
now.
you're
Build
done.
is right now. Because
Okay.
I'll take it up whatever thing. I'm not scared of any line. Like I'll just do it, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm happy not spending money on it right now. Everything works. It's got great suspension on it, great everything. Like it's good to go for me. Like it does everything well. And I'm just kind of happy
Yeah.
with it. So I toyed with, well, should I sell it and start over? Just build something crazy? You know what I mean? There's all those things kind of go
Yeah.
through your head. So yeah, I don't know.
I won't sell I've told these guys I won't sell my yellow one because it's got a lifetime warranty on it from Mopar, and I won't get rid of it. So as long as they will continue to warranty the engine, then I will continue to wheel the hell out of it.
Yeah.
I've been informed that they won't warranty my engine now that it's been upside down and full of oil and hydraulic fluid.
No, I'm pretty sure that's like, I think that's something even they would look at me like, we're not going to cover that either. No.
That's the fine print. They used to do, speaking of warranties, they used to do windshield warranties, like when the JKs first came out
Oh yeah.
through the dealership.
They were a little too confident at the start, weren't they?
I remember being in a dealership one time, and this like girl walks by, and I was just like, "What are you in for?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm just bringing my JK, and it's got another cracked windshield." And I was like, "How many are you on?" And she's like, "Oh, it's like my 12th one because I got the thing." And it's just like, "Oh my god."
Oh, that's so
That sounds
cool.
great, but like, you know what time you've wasted out of your life just going to the dealership to get new windshield.
Oh, I hate that.
I hate the deal. I hate the
Yeah.
dealer. I'm glad that they're the only ones that can work on my Jeep right now. But the reality is, if I have to take my Jeep to the dealer, then all of us have failed. I failed. The shop failed.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be a long time before I see it. I'm not gonna get updates in a timely manner, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And so that's well.
Yeah.
it's
the
but it's
nature of
true
the
for
beast,
everybody.
man.
I know I'm not the only person who feels like this.
I mean, if your vehicle's in the shop for anything, it took my wife. She had a little bit of body damage on her car, and it took almost 2 months to get it fixed. It wasn't extensive.
yeah, my
damage.
friend said his Jeep was down for 6 months after he tipped it over, and I'm like, I ain't not letting that happen.
Wow.
That's if I have to go Karen on people, I will. That is not happening.
Bring Jason out. It sounds like you can get your shit together.
Right.
I'm still stuck on this obstacle thing. I really like it.
Oh my God.
I think that's like a really cool. I can think of like 10 obstacles in my head that like should be on there, but like I think that like, and I like the idea of like the chute and a puzzle piece, and then did you do it backwards, and then like did you do it? Was it raining? Just kidding.
Right,
No, I'm
right.
just kidding.
The
Like,
whole-
Oh, no, I
you
mean,
could get like a rain cloud like for any of the like obstacles, because there's one called Wayne's World in Utah,
Yep.
like in
Okay.
northern Utah.
and I'm only
And
telling
like
you
it
this.
could be Wayne's World, but it could like you could have rain clouds and like all kinds of
Oh, yeah,
different
that-
options to like make
Yeah.
your obstacle like, because you literally like you don't say you did Wayne's World, you have like a sentence after of how many things were just going on that day
Right, right.
to make it so that you could get up that
Yeah.
like
Maybe like little decals that go on top of the badge. Just says rainy,
Yeah,
snowy,
right.
muddy.
sunny, snowy,
Oh, that's
muddy.
cool.
Yeah, like how much sand is
Kind of
on
like
it.
the UFC badges, how many
Yeah.
times you
Like
defeated
behind
you
40
won.
other Jeeps. Like, 8 hours.
Yeah. watch 10 people roll over on it first. Like, I don't know.
Like all these like terrible.
Oh my gosh, you could have like axle shafts and things like that, because if you broke your axle shaft on it, you could have the badge and then broke your axle shaft. Or your drive line, or like a D-ring.
There
like,
you go.
These are all options. Like, these are good
That's
ideas.
at least something you should do
All
with the
add-ons.
app.
There's like going to be like a little drop-down menu underneath the bat.
There you go. That's what you
add.
When
You
when
add
people
on,
add it on
because
the
it could
app,
be
they
like,
can add
I didn't
damage.
finish it, but I was on it and I broke my axle shaft. Like, I want one of those. Like, that's cool.
I feel like that's extra cred. Yeah.
Because it's your big fish story anyway. You talk about it all the time. So why shouldn't it be documented on your Jeep? Like, we have Friendship Corner, and it's all the people that we've met along the way and like that have made us who we are. And like, I think if you had like your badges could like represent who you are, like that's super rad too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I like it.
just some thoughts while we're just a little collaboration.
Taking notes.
I know. Well, and I'm going to give you one more, and I'm only giving this to you because I know I'm never going to have an opportunity to do stickers like this. But just do the state, and then you can do individual trails as parts of the state. Just treat it like the those country map or the whole country maps with the individual states where you fill it out.
Yeah, we kind of dabble with that a little bit. We actually
Like
had
the quarter
initial
maps?
designs, kind of like the RV maps that you see on RVs, that sort of thing.
Those of us with OCD loves shit like that.
Yeah, we had some initial designs. We were just you got to be very
That's a lot
creative
of work.
how to fit these trails and or names of trails in very tiny state shapes, right? So
And then you get so many new options all the time. Like, you would get it like perfect, and then all of a sudden you get like, say you have 50 spots, and then all of a sudden the shape changed.
Right.
Exactly.
Then you got to buy it again. I'm not mad at that.
I mean, you are building in your own business at that point, so
I'm
it's
telling
pretty good.
you, the axles and the like. I'm all in on like that part of the badge.
What's your favorite
That's
trail?
actually really funny.
What's your favorite trail nobody knows about or that you want to share?
Favorite trail that no one knows about. Sheesh. That's a brain buster.
All right, your favorite trail that everybody knows about.
Everybody knows about. My personal favorite trail area. Sand Hall is amazing. That's totally killer. I love like the BFE area too. I think that area is just killer. Outside of Moab, that is 2 tons of fun. The Coyote Canyon, all that stuff is that's a good time in there. But I'm also so we're like, when I say we're, like me and my girlfriend, she's kind of my helper, and she's always at like all the events and this and that. And she's like
This is a podcast. You can make it sound like we is 100 people that is Conquered Trailz, and we can go that.
The people at my corporate headquarters.
Okay, there you go. See, you're getting it now.
There you go.
Yeah, we are like outdoorsy camping people first, I would say, and then very closely second would be jeeping, off-roaders, that sort of thing. So we kind of like both. So there's a lot of times we just go camping, and a lot of times we'll drag the Jeep with us and that sort of thing. So we love the scenic trails too. I think the San Juan Mountain area is like totally amazing, super epic, and I could do those all day, and there's not like a hard thing in that area necessarily, right?
Yeah, it's really not difficult.
Right, but I also love like the super technical, and you're about to roll, flip, got the tires in the air, that sort of thing, like 2 miles an hour in low, and you know what I mean. I love that too, just because of the challenge and the achievement of that. But I love the scenery too, because that stuff is just like it's stuck in your brain forever.
Just got a little too excited. Calm down, buddy.
I like the scenery, but I only like to take. I don't like to take our bigger Jeeps on the scenic trails as much because it's kind of overkill.
Right.
And and it's like we custom made them to climb on rocks, and then they don't do really good driving slow over over flat trails.
They do good. They're just boring.
Good. They're just boring. It's way more fun to take the 2-door out on one of those trails,
because then you get to like
because everything's funky in that thing. It's a lot of fun.
Right.
You just have to take it, when everybody's going on the bypasses, you just like see that thing and go over it and feel good about it.
Yep.
On the two-door. Yeah.
There you go. We'll come out. So there's a trail out here. Next time you're out this way, Eric, it's called Saxon Mountain. It'll scratch both itches for you.
Oh, okay.
It'll give you a nice scenic view of Georgetown and Denver, and
Nice.
it will scare the shit out of you at the same time with it's about a 3,000 foot shelf road.
Oh, wow.
So if you can handle the shelf roads, it's good for you. But
Yeah, that's awesome.
I realized as I
Randy
said that, and
hates
I
that
saw the look
crap.
on your face, I'm like, I'm not so sure he likes the shelves.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
I love
We came through there. Geez, when was it?
And that one's right off the highway. Like
Oh,
you can
okay.
stop in Georgetown. You can drive to the mountain, go up it. If you want to turn around and come back down, and be back on the highway like 3 hours later.
Yeah, most of the stuff we were through there was still snow covered, gates are closed, that sort of thing. So we ended up just doing like we went up and did like T33, and then because we're on our way to a wedding
Yeah.
also, so that was in Breckenridge, and so we went and did Wheeler Lake.
Okay, yeah, that's a good.
So
one,
that
too.
was like
Mhm.
just kind of getting opening. There's some snow on that still, so that was about
right.
the extent the last
We can-
time we were through that area. But
if you come through there at the right time of winter, you can go out there on Georgetown Lake.
oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, you just have to get a permit, and not a permit. They basically sell tickets for ice racing, and they have regular ice racing where you actually timed and compete, and then there's another one where you can just go around and act like a jackass out on the ice. It's kind of fun.
Awesome.
So
That sounds like a
it's
good
only
one.
it's only like $50. It's well worth it.
Wow. No,
Yeah, I
that
had a
sounds
good
like
time with
something
that.
we should take Jim over and do.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you'd have a lot of fun with it, man. I'll share some. We're getting into winter. I'll share some fresh video of it. So
Cool.
it's good stuff. I tried to add it. It's actually something that I tried to add to Trails Off Road as a scout route. And Todd and I'm pretty sure it's still in limbo. I don't think we decided on whether or not we're going to publish it, because it's real disconcerting when you're looking at like a top-down view of a map, and then there's a GPX track that goes out over a lake. And we don't. There's been too many stories lately about people following Google Maps where they shouldn't.
Oh
map,
yeah, I
and
bet.
Can you
I don't think
imagine
it's a good
someone's like,
idea.
well, the line said to go through the lake, and
100% someone would. You know they would.
I
Like
know
that's, and that was part of the discussion that Todd and I had about it. Like, there's somebody's
that's
going to
the
go up
lowest
there.
common denominator of humanity.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
and we weren't going to run that through legal for that kind of a commitment at all. So awesome. All right. Well, cool, man. That's it. I guess we'll end on this last question for you. What's the future for you guys? You got any specific new products or stuff coming that you want us to know about?
New products and stuff. We're always pumping out new trails, as you know. We're going to start diving into a little more like national park stuff too, as well, because that's a big
Okay.
thing for people that are just traveling all the national parks. So we're going to be heading that direction. We also just launched our a start of like a mountain bike line as well, because there's big
Oh, very
mountain
nice.
bike name trails that people want to go after, that sort of thing. Yeah, so we're just trails in general, really, because like obviously side by sides and all this, people take all kinds of rigs on that. That was another big differentiator. It just doesn't have to be a Jeep; it could be any rig you want out there,
yeah.
right? So, but we are definitely doing that. What else? We've got new apparel that comes out all the time as well.
Ooh, yeah.
And just try to keep supporting a lot of these small events. We sponsor a ton of small, like local events here, nationwide. We host the social media parties at EJS, and we did one at Trail Hero last year. And we're going to continue to do that and maybe expand into other large events across the country, kind of doing that sort of thing.
Winter 4x4.
And
She's pushing everybody, so don't
I
feel
know.
bad about that.
I love it. It's my
not just
favorite
you,
event.
Eric.
This is a small event until Randy started talking
And now
about
it's
it.
huge.
I mean,
Whatever,
seriously.
I love it.
Are
Winter
you getting
4x4
money per
and-
reservation?
yeah, a little kickback.
Winter 4x4. Winter 4x4 and Vernal Rock Rally are my two very favorite, because they're tiny. Well, Vernal is way tinier, and that's my very favorite because it's so intimate.
That sounds awesome.
Not a lot of
So-
places have that format of guided trails at an event, and Vernal is a real small one, and it's really fun there.
It's like 300 people.
Really?
Yeah, for
Wow.
300
3 to
people.
500 people. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like the best one of all of them.
We show up and we're the giant
Right.
Jeeps. There's-
Everybody else is like duct taped and zip tied together.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it. It's like my favorite thing ever.
That's awesome.
I'm sorry.
like these locals will drive their stock Sahara with a locker in the rear on these crazy ass trails that we're out there on 40s with front and rear lockers trying to go on it, and they're crazy insane, and if I drove like that, I'd break my Jeep for sure.
One of the guys had an XJ, and one of his long arms just like broke off.
Wow.
And he like literally welded it to his axle and said, cool, and like kept going with 3 wheels.
Perfect.
Like literally welded his long arm to his axle. It was like the best day of my life, like watching him, and he like kicked it a few times and he's like, I'm ready.
That's awesome.
Good to go.
I love going to events
That-
like that. Like we have a lot of, obviously small local clubs that we're involved with and that sort of thing. And I love just showing up and seeing what the majority of the Jeep and off-road world is like. Cause
Yeah.
Jim and the Misfit, mine, Jason's, that sort of like, we are not the majority out there. You know what I mean? We're very, very small.
Okay, I love you guys,
No.
but you're not. Yeah,
No.
I hate that. I'm the majority. Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'm just like, man, this is so cool. All these people, it doesn't matter like what the build is, how small or big it is. Like that person over there is having like just as much of a good time as we are, and
Oh, I
vice
love
versa. And like everybody's pitching in, and like if someone breaks, that's like the best part of the community, right? So like everybody's like,
That's the best part of the
And-
community. Yeah.
It is
Doesn't matter,
so much
like-
fun.
And we've been sucking up more than our fair share of breaks on the trail lately.
right? People are
Thanks to
pitching
the
in,
community
and,
for
like,
helping us all the
I
time.
just love that. Like, everybody's like-minded and willing to help. And,
Mhm.
if you're taking, we lead a lot of local trail runs and that sort of thing. And, if you're taking newbies out there and just like opening their minds to like how some of the stuff works on different lines and like everything from like airing down your tires to, you name it. So it's awesome.
Well, and I love the community is what it is. Like I wouldn't be building my Jeep if I didn't love the people I was doing it with and the people that like have supported me for the last like while. You know what I mean? Like it is one of the coolest to be part of it and to be around it and to like bring people into it is just amazing. And the people are just that's it. You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's good
be.
stuff.
I mean, it's fun. Like all the parts are fun, but like if it wasn't for the people,
Yeah.
hmm you guys, you said the word rally, and I think that as a podcast, if it actually is going on next year, we should enter ourselves in the Rocky Mountain Rambler 500. And if you're not familiar with it, it is you bring a vehicle that is $500 or less, and then you have to get it from point A to point B, and hope it stays in one piece.
Our friend Chelsea's been doing that with Gambler 500. She's
Oh my
raced
God.
like I don't know how many races. She's always on the Gambler 500 stuff. Trail
That's
Hunter. She used to drive a Jeep. Now she's like really into
Yeah.
racing these $500 cars.
I like I saw it, I think the first time in like 2018 or something like that. And then a couple years later, by the time I was ready to do it, COVID hit. They came back a year or two ago, and then last year they were off. So hopefully next year they do it. So I think we should do that as a group. That'd be great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, hilarious.
We just had a group of buddies that went out and did like a small tire challenge. So they just bolt like all these takeoffs
Jesus.
of like stock Jeeps. Just everybody's like just bolting on like the smallest little tires that they can get on like the thing and then taking it out. But their Jeeps are all built. They're just on these really tiny tires, and it's just a blast because like there's not enough leverage on a small tire to break anything, so you can just really like
Mhm.
just hammer.
hammer it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fun. A little bit of skinny pedal and a lot of like double footing.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
And,
Well, it's
One
kind
of
of
my
like when we take our Jeeps and then we take out hologram. It is a totally different experience, and I love it. Like it's like because hologram is like on 37s and it's a 2-door, so it has a lot of clearance. But like the front wheels like start working just as fast as the back wheels. It's fast.
no delay.
Whereas like in his JT, like you were over that rock and like last summer. Like his forever until that starts working again.
That's a
tire
totally
takes
different
forever to
feeling of
catch
gas.
up.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
But the 2-door, like, just
But it's smaller tires because it doesn't need bigger tires.
no.
I
Mhm.
think if you put 40s on it or 42s, they would touch each other.
Like, I feel like that's overkill for my Jeep. It's
It's
too
definitely
much.
overkill. 35s to 37s on a smaller Jeep.
It's so
It's
fun.
so fun.
There's so much
Yeah.
stuff to do. Like it feels different.
And it's almost kind of cool to like think about that though with the small tire challenge, like you're saying. It'd be kind of interesting to be like
and 33s
take
and
33-inch tires and put them on Misfit and then go beat the shit out of it because you can because it's not going to break.
No,
the rest
I
of
mean you don't have the
suspension.
clearance, but you have the axle, so you just ram them in.
Yeah.
Right. But other than that,
Definitely get the skid plates on there first.
yeah.
oh my god, 33s
feel-
on Misfit. He'd have no breakover. He'd be like skidding across everything.
Speed bump,
It would-
I mean-
just
I feel like there's an opportunity for a governing body to come in here and make decisions about like, okay, this trail, if you do it with 33s and it's a 6.7 and we're going to do it like this, you're going to get rated if you finish it. Yeah.
No.
There's anybody who's willing to spend that kind of time because it's not me.
It would be fun.
Oh, I think it'd be a lot of fun. I just don't have that kind of time. I
Oh.
barely have enough time to do what I'm doing now. I don't have time to do this. I just like you guys too much. So, all right, cool. Then let's get out of here. I have just the last thing for you. We did not get to a question last time. Jason is Jason, and since he's not here, we're actually going to get to finish the podcast in a respectable way today. Eric, the guests don't have to include themselves. If you'd like to include yourself, you can.
Sure.
I will ask you. You're welcome to pass. But we just kind of ask a hot take question. We go around the table. Everybody gets 60 seconds to do that. And did you? Oh, good Lord! I felt my stomach rumble when you did that, Pope. So the question of the day is: what's the worst modification? I'm going to exclude from this conversation cosmetic items and light bars. Those are the two things that you cannot say are the worst modification.
Okay.
We will throw it to our guests first. Eric, what's the worst modification and your opportunity to piss somebody off if you'd like to?
Worst modification. Geez, man, that's a tough one. Let's go with the floor mats.
Floor mats. I mean, as much as I like the WeatherTech, I got to agree with you. That's a lot. It's a lot. I see a lot
the
of
functionality of them, but
it's just hard to drop so much cash for floor liners. Like I get it,
Yeah.
but it still gets underneath there.
yeah.
I love you guys. You're a U.S. company. In fact, I think you're in Illinois. But yeah, I'm all right. Cool. Randy, you get to go first because
Oh,
Pope looks like he's itching.
the worst modification. I'm just trying to think. Like it's really hard because I can think of a lot of like
Yeah.
superficial things that are awful.
Yeah, that's why I
Like-
excluded those things. Like, and go ahead. Because I don't want to get in the way of your answer.
Well, and you know what? Like, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I think like, I have a lot of feelings because I have seen every Apex valve stem fucking explode. Like, I've had so many like people who they like leak. I don't have them because, and like every time I get new tires, they're like, you should do Apex. And like all of my friends tell me this all the time. You should get them. You should get them. And then like that same day that they're bitching that I like take 5 minutes to air down my tires instead of 30 seconds.
Right.
Their valve stem like comes unglued. So like, I would say if it's going to be something really like technical like that, I'd say Apex
Like
valve
yeah,
stems.
like
I've seen more
I'm not trying to piss
problems.
people.
Like I've seen
yeah,
more
I guess I
problems
am
with
trying
it
to
than
piss
I've
people
seen
off.
like
Yeah, go ahead.
okayness. Like and so I am sorry, Apex valve stems, if you're listening to my podcast and you're like,
Yeah, I mean they make plenty of great products. I
they do.
I don't
But
think
I'm
it's
just
just
saying,
Apex.
like-
I think it's anybody who's making valve stem replacements.
Yeah.
Like they're always long. They're always, I feel like it's just way too much to get damaged unless you're doing what I'm doing, which is not a whole lot of rock crawling.
Well, and all of my friends that have them have to wait for me anyway.
Well,
They have to wait for me if
Yeah.
they're hanging out with me. So I guess okay, that's that. There you go.
There you
That's
go.
how I feel about it.
Were you just have something to say, Eric?
no, I was gonna say I have Apex, but now you probably jinxed me. Thank you very much. How have you
I'm
just-
so sorry. And everybody bitches because it takes me 5 minutes to air down my tires. So I just take my Easy Flate and hook it up and like do it.
See, I just hit my easy
And
flight
I can do them
keep
all
driving
four at the same time, and I can talk to you while I'm doing it and check my number and whatever, you know.
the
But
easy place.
they're all pissed off because they can go over and go and they like count their seconds and do their whole thing, and they're all done faster than me. And it's like, but you have to wait for me anyway.
Yeah, see,
So-
I got a drone. I got plenty of shit
You know
to
how
do.
crappy it was to air down one tire at a time? We're doing 4 at a time. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I mean,
It's like we're in the Middle Ages of technology here.
all right, Pope, you're up.
This is kind of an odd one, but it's on the same lines. The TPMS delete. Why the fuck would you
Seems
take the
excessive, right?
TPMS
Like
sensors
something
out of your
unnecessary?
tires? Or would you build a big Jeep like Gem and the Misfit and then not put the TPMS sensors in the wheels? Why would you do that?
Yeah. Well, it's if you have them, why defeat them? Like it's still a useful measurement. Like I don't need extra TPMS, or I don't need extra tire pressure sensors of any kind. I use the ones on board, even for
Yeah,
airing up and
and
airing down.
And for when you do like the large tire, like we do, or you change it out, you have to put new ones in. And we were like trying to save money on not putting them in. And then the second time we did replace tires, we told our builder to put them in, and he still didn't.
Oh yeah.
So,
No,
but
that's not.
yeah, it is.
Well, then you know if you burp a little bit of air,
you know what's going on with them. You're fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. You can set your taser to have them low anyway. But your computers don't really like when they're not there. The way the Jeep's designed. Anyway,
Yeah, that's
That's
all right.
my-
No, you're good. No, it's
that's my
good.
take.
This is gonna be a great question. I'm looking forward to seeing how Jason feels about this one. So, because
I know. I want to hear what he has to say.
I am sure he's got some feelings about it.
There's
so.
a lot of things that are
Awesome.
like cosmetic and functionally cosmetic. You know what I mean? But there are terrible
Yeah.
upgrades.
Yeah,
Like what?
yeah.
What do
yeah.
you? What would be in the terrible cosmetic?
Would be
Like-
kind of like Nerf bars, or like a step to get in your rig that isn't like a functional
Yeah.
slider. Like if you're
Something
spending
that
money on it,
gives
like
you
get a
the-
functional slider that is both,
Yeah.
not just something that is
Right.
just gonna like just wrap around the first rock that you put it on. Because
Something that makes you think that you have protection and you don't.
or
Mhm.
any of those steps that are like a U-shaped step in the middle of your Jeep where you got 2 of them,
Yeah,
and then you're
right.
like getting stuck and hung up
Like
on
those are
rocks.
just gonna get hung up on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't
Sorry,
U-shaped until I landed it on a rock. Now they're U-shaped. Yeah.
Right.
The other thing along those lines is any bumper that's made out of anything less than 3/16 steel.
Yeah, I
if
would
it,
agree with that too. Yeah.
don't bother with it because it's just going to smash on a rock. You think, and it'll defeat another car on the road probably pretty well. But I've just like slowly going down a rock and just scraping the bumper. I've had one of those 3/16
Yep.
bumpers taco itself on that.
Well, my really thin one when I first started, I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I just bought like a stamped steel bumper, and I had to jump on the bumper to open my tailgate.
Yeah.
I called it my crumple zone. I was like, it's fine,
Yeah.
it's my crumple
That's
zone.
awesome.
We're not going
Okay.
to talk crap on those because on the company or say what they are because they're beautiful bumpers and they look
But
really
just not for
cool,
what we're doing.
but they're just not appropriate for what we
Yeah.
do.
Right.
My addition to this conversation is going to be tailgate kitchen tables. Nobody needs them. Nobody needs, myself included. I say this having one currently in my Jeep that will just come out whenever I finally get around to doing it. I put it in 2 years ago and I've used it one time. So you don't need it. You don't need the weight. If you need a kitchen, then get one, but get an overland rig. You don't need it for your two-door JK. So,
Oh, one more.
That's a
all
good
right.
one.
Oh, you got one more.
Dual steering stabilizers.
Ah, overkill.
Yeah,
you say.
well, yeah. I mean, you don't even need one at all. If you got an alignment,
Well, it depends on how bad the
your ball joints
suspension
are
was
good,
done in your shop.
You don't need to
that's-
spend too much
I think
at
you're
all.
giving a lot of
But
shops too much credit.
They
Mhm.
will slap everyone on there if you like the look of that, and it's just a pointless.
I mean, if you want to have all that extra underneath them, but it's just extra weight.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. So we'll thank Eric. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. The pleasure.
Hopefully we can have you on in the future at some point. Maybe if you guys got something newer, something interesting coming down the line, reach out to me and we'll have you on.
Okay, sounds great. No, it was awesome. Thank you very much, everyone. Yeah, it was a good
Nice to
time.
meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you,
Yeah,
Eric.
thank you.
If you want to hang out for 1 second after we're done recording, and then yeah, cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah, everybody, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for joining us here at the podcast. Pope, do you want to? Did I hear you pour a shot,
Oh,
Yes.
there we
or
go.
did you just pour liquor into something? Okay,
Well, I poured liquor into my glass, but
okay, because I heard a pop of a cork. So here,
Yeah.
Eric, it's a Jason thing.
Oh, it's a
It's
Jason
just his
thing?
fault.
Jason's
So
not here, but
if you have a drink,
take
feel
a
free.
drink.
Mm-hmm.
Drink to the game.
Cheers.
cheers.
Oh my God, why do I keep doing that myself? All right. It's just
We make
tequila
you
has
do
a
it
very
every week.
specific thought in my, and it takes me back to a very specific time in my past.
That's the old me. That's the
All
old me.
right, cool. No, it's good times. All right. Well, thanks so much, and thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time at the Trailhead.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Thanks.